tonight, a Newcastle musician found guilty of importing 700 kilos of cocaine.
A man dies as flames tear through a Hunter Valley home.
A former home and away actor accused of repeatedly punching a female police officer.
And the government under growing pressure to head off another health insurance hike.
This is NBN News with Natasha Beyersdorf and Paul Lobb.
Good evening. He was the high-profile face of a massive drug bust. Now Craig Lemke is facing a lengthy stint behind bars.
The Newcastle musician was today found guilty of importing hundreds of kilograms of cocaine hidden on board a yacht that sailed from Tahiti to Lake Macquarie via Coffs Harbour.
More than half a tonne of drugs hidden in the hull of a yacht and brought into Australia by this man, Craig Lemke. A jury today convicted the 49-year-old over the massive cocaine haul in 2017 following a 6-week trial in Newcastle District Court. While Lemke always admitted to being at the helm of the catamaran, he claimed he didn't know the drugs were on board. But during the trial, jurors heard several surveillance recordings involving Lemke, who was set to pocket $500,000 for his role. Among them, this conversation with another syndicate member who commented, "It's a different world, isn't it?" To which Lemke replied, "Let me assure you, this is all new to me. I don't deal with these figures, and what I'm worried about is people knowing that I've got this money coming in, looking for it and wanting to come looking for you. Yeah." Prosecutors argued Lemke either knew about the drugs or at least believed there was a significant chance of a substance being on board either before or after he set sail. He flew out of Sydney and arrived in Tahiti on the 12th of October, then sailed out on the 17th at the helm of the Scarabej, arriving at Coffs Harbour on November 10. After a brief stopover, he continued on to Lake Macquarie, mooring at Toronto on the 14th. But authorities were waiting, storming the yacht the following day, seizing the drugs and arresting Lemke and 2 other men. While they've both been jailed for their part, Lemke will learn his fate in December. Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
There's heartbreak tonight for a woman and her teenage son as a fire destroyed their lives. The blaze tore through their Hunter home, killing their husband and father. Now, in a tragic turn, police are investigating if he set the house alight.
The flashing lights of emergency services against the glow of a blaze reaching metres into the air. Still inside the family home at Aberglasslyn, Stephen Wilson, his panicked wife and son powerless to help.
Horrific. Screams of terror and fear and loss, actually, because husband was missing in the house.
Emergency crews attempted to rescue the 46-year-old through the garage.
We could hear cutting, like trying to cut the door and then banging and crashing on it. So, and it was after that, all of a sudden, they were running with ambos and that they brought the gentleman out.
But he couldn't be revived.
And they were working on him on the footpath here for at least 45 minutes.
The mother and son managed to escape the home just before it was engulfed in flames, but could do little to save the man trapped inside. The pair were treated for shock, with the woman also suffering burns to her hand. The speed in which the blaze took hold, catching everyone off guard.
It's awful to see. Your gut just turns.
The extent of the damage evident this morning. A roof caved in, windows blown out, relatives trying to come to terms with the tragedy. Forensic officers have examined the scene and police are investigating whether the man who lost his life may have started the fire himself. Madison Scott, NBN News.
And if you or someone you know needs help or support, you can contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Police are appealing for information following the discovery of skeletal remains on a property in the northwest. The grim find was made last Friday afternoon on a farm north of Bingara. A crime scene has been established. The bones are being forensically examined.
There's a big price hike looming for private health premiums, with insurers blaming the rising cost of medical devices. Today, the federal government was pledging to cut another cost, claiming it's got a solution to help you save on electricity.
Even the Prime Minister has to run when the bells toll. It's a division. To be continued. Called from a literary award speech twice to help pass a bill that includes the power to split up big energy companies.
Divestiture will be considered a last resort response,
which passed the lower house with Labor's support.
The ayes have it.
And the promise it would help cut power prices.
We want to see prices coming down for all customers.
There is no guarantee prices will fall, and it's not the only Morrison government cost-cutting pledge.
My goal is to continue to reduce the pressure on private health insurance costs.
The yearly rise in health insurance premiums has been trending down, but price hikes are still well above inflation. The goal is to push the next increase below 3%, and the health insurers admit that will be a struggle.
We just don't know what the final outcome is going to be. We will do everything we can to ensure that premium increases don't exceed inflation.
Prices are being pushed up by the high cost of things like hip and knee replacements.
Australia pays some of the highest prices in the world for medical devices.
The problem with governments promising to cut living costs is it's hard to do, obvious when it fails, and failure is punished at the ballot box. The Prime Minister finally got back to his audience. So this is a speech in 3 acts, and consumers will be expecting a happy ending. Chris Ullman, NBN News.
Controversial union boss John Setka has been forced out of the Labor Party, today dropping his appeal against his expulsion. Opposition leader Anthony Albanese confirming the resignation, saying Mr Setka did not represent the party's values.
A toddler has died after being hit by a ute in the driveway of a Taree home. Emergency services were called to the house about 5 p.m. yesterday. The 20-month-old girl was treated at the scene and later died in hospital. Police say the driver, a 24-year-old man, was taken to hospital for mandatory testing.
The coronial inquest into the death of a Port Stephens teenager in 2017 has heard heartbreaking evidence from his mother. Michelle Degenhardt read out a letter she penned to her son as she continued her appeal for answers.
Rasso was told twice he only had gastro.
As a mother, there will never be another loss that comes close to losing my child. It's like a nerve has been severed and remains open and raw.
The Port Stephens teen died following misdiagnosed appendicitis and a week of agony in February 2017. The treating doctor, a Russian GP who'd only been in the country for 4 weeks on a working visa. Luca's mum recalls him feeling something pop in his stomach. He died a few hours later in the back of an ambulance. His mother sobbing as she read a letter penned to her son, Luca the Lionheart, on the final day of an inquest examining his death in Newcastle. I know the only thing you would ask is all the hows and all the whys as to how to stop this from happening again. It will never be fair that something so common and preventable took you from us. Dr. Paul Bilakopatov denies Luca ever said it just hurts everywhere and my belly is sore. The doctor maintains there were no signs of appendicitis. The coroner now needs to determine whether Luca's death could have been prevented if he'd been properly diagnosed and whether his GP failed to carry out any necessary tests.
My greatest hope is that this inquest will give us all the opportunity to learn from Luca's death and stop this kind of thing happening again to another child or family.
Emma Partridge, NBN News.
Newcastle Council has reported a 6th consecutive annual surplus, $9.4 million in the 2018-19 financial year. The result comes despite the council spending a record $91 million on capital works. Income was $336 million, up $26 million, while operating expenses totalled $295 million. CEO Jeremy Bath says the city has met or exceeded all 6 financial performance ratios set by the Office of Local Government. Development approvals again exceeded $1 billion.
As the drought rages on, some hunter farmers are struggling to put food on the table, let alone in troughs. Today, Rural Aid handed over thousands of dollars worth of hay as feed reserves reach critical levels.
A sight Singleton farmers haven't seen in a long time. Trucks filled with more than 100 bales ready to be fed to local livestock. It's the first hay these cows have eaten in a year.
We're all broke. Simple as that. I've got friends at Jerry's Pay. They lost their farm and they owned all their lives, 3 generations.
Max Moore says conditions are the worst he's seen in 7 decades of farming. Last year, he had to ask his neighbours the Risbys for feed. There's some of just a handful of dairy farmers left in the town.
You see, milk went up 30 cents in the shop and they gave us farmers 6 cents. So where did the rest go?
Today, Rural Aid helped ease the burden on dozens of families.
After Singleton recently missed out on federal drought funding, today's donation is invaluable for local farmers, buying them time for the next few months.
It's not going to solve their problems, but it gives them a little bit of reassurance that the world is taking notice and the world is paying attention. We appreciate our farmers. This is our way to show our appreciation to our farmers.
Rural Aid will make another hay drop at Dubbo this weekend. In the meantime...
It's rain we want. Yeah. So otherwise, yeah, we're just living day to day and hoping it's going to end soon.
Lauren Kemp, NBN News.
The region's next generation of engineers was today given a chance to tinker at a special event on the University of Newcastle's Callaghan campus. While their feet remained firmly on the ground, their minds were on the heavens, testing Mars rovers they'd programmed themselves.
Navigating other worlds requires patience and persistence, something students from 18 Hunter high schools competing in today's Mars Rover Challenge showed in droves. Judges from the RAF, Lockheed Martin and Boeing scrutinising their every move.
As hard as it is, it's a lot of fun.
All were trying to traverse an obstacle course simulating conditions on the red planet. Some approaches proved successful, others required a rethink.
Whether they achieve or not, they've all learnt loads and they've had a lot of fun.
Teams began preparing months ago using computers to program the rovers.
When we first got them and they first opened them and got into them, they were just super excited. It's coded either with Scratch, which is a block coding, or Python, which is a written language code.
To make it navigate the course, it's possibly depends on how you do it, 4 lines at minimum, 20 lines at most.
Held annually to promote science, technology, engineering and maths, the challenge has become increasingly relevant as the country gets more involved in the space race. Regional Development Australia hosts the event and wants more kids to study the subjects to also ensure a skilled workforce for the mining, defence and aerospace industries.
That's actually my plan. I would like to do coding and robotics in my future.
Sam Burbury, NBN News.
After the break, Turkey and Russia strike a deal over strife-torn Syria.
Also ahead, peak hour chaos on the M1 after a ute hits a road worker.
What's for dinner? It may be the most asked question in Australia, and just maybe the hardest question to answer as well. So Coles is introducing a whole range of delicious new meal solutions, all with 5 ingredients or less, all ready in no more than 30 minutes, and also delicious and easy to prepare. You'll be enjoying them faster than you could have them delivered. So next time you're asked, what's for dinner? Remember all the good things, great value at Coles.
Make some noise.
At Mojo, every home comes with a frame made from TrueCore steel as standard. That way, no matter what life throws at it, it'll always stay straight and true. Visit a display home today. Hester is a super fund that supports people whose work helps others. Their stories inspire us to give them a stronger financial future and a better world to retire into. It's our way of saying thank you.
At
Hunter Primary Care, we support people to live a healthy life. We are experts in NDIS support coordination and can help you make the most out of your plan. We are your partner on your journey. Contact our NDIS team to find out more.
I love being part of the Spring Racing Carnival, whatever I'm doing. I also love that Bet Easy gives me consistently better odds. What do you think? Past 3, hey?
It's time to make a better choice for your dog. Time for fresh, free-range ingredients direct from Aussie farmers. Just adding warm water creates a nutritious meal in 30 seconds. Frontier Pets. Feed their future. frontierpets.com.au.
They're stylish, functional, and the latest addition to Alan Graham's Caravans. The all-new Feature Pack Swift, renowned for its build quality and outstanding value. And they're available now at Alan Graham's Caravans.
Ned's puts you in control of the race and the track this Saturday. Pick any Australian thoroughbred race, including the Cox Plate, and get up to 10 tools in your punter's toolbox. This spring, take it to the Ned's level.
Hey Dad, you know that thing I've been talking about?
What, the caravan?
No, the goats, the farm.
Oh, you're not still on about that, are you?
Well, yes, and I just keep thinking how good it would be for the kids.
Your job? I mean, you can't just throw that away.
Well...
Just promise me you won't do anything silly.
Never.
When you're ready to make it happen, so are we. NAB, more than money.
A young female police officer has been brutally bashed in Sydney, shoulder-charged and repeatedly punched in the face as she made a routine arrest. A former Home and Away star is accused of the attack, but his family claims the out-of-work actor is suffering from a rare disease.
Joel McIlroy is best known for his time as Flynn Saunders on Home and Away.
The way you always smile.
Yesterday, police claim he took on a violent role.
Oh my God.
Officers were arresting a man for a minor offence in Surrey Hills about 11 o'clock when they say Joel McIlroy approached. He was told to move on before a struggle. The 46-year-old is accused of shoulder-charging a female senior constable before allegedly punching her repeatedly. The scuffle spilled over barricades.
He fell to the ground and he was just like uncontrollable.
A member of the public helped police make an arrest.
Stop moving! Put the handcuffs on! Stop moving!
The constables were just doing their job, and it's disgraceful that somebody else decided to interject.
The actor's family says he has Huntington's disease and can't always control his behaviour. Since his days on Home and Away, Joel McIlroy's neighbours claim he's struggled to get work and he's become quite reclusive. Police say he isn't cooperating with their investigation and they don't know why the officers were targeted. The 29-year-old policewoman spent last night in hospital.
So the officer is bruised and quite sore.
Joel McIlroy tried for bail, but a magistrate didn't buy his act. Hannah Sinclair, NBN News.
A young road worker packing up for the day has been hit by a ute on the M1 just north of Sydney. The 28-year-old was collecting signs in the breakdown lane at Barara at 3 this morning when a 72-year-old driver slammed into him. He was taken to hospital suffering serious injuries. The incident created an 11-kilometre traffic queue through peak hour due to lane closures.
Northern Syria is on edge tonight with a 5-day truce between Turkish and Kurdish forces coming to an end. Turkey has wasted no time signing an agreement with Russia to jointly patrol one of the world's most complex battlegrounds.
The ceasefire officially over and now the world holds its breath. On what was a week ago the front line, Turkey-backed Syrian rebels were in a bullish mood. This field commander warning the Kurdish forces, should they not retreat, we're ready to resume military operations to capture those areas. Turkey started the war and Russia was quick to sign up. Presidents Erdogan and Putin have met in the Black Sea city of Sochi and agreed on a proposed Turkish safe zone in Syria, which severely curtails Kurdish control. But in this strife-torn region, nowhere is safe.
Hi, I'm Kirsty Rossmill.
66 Australian women and children remain in a refugee camp on the Syrian border.
This is Leila.
Many were the wives of Islamic State fighters. Now they're trapped in a new war, and they're once again pleading to be allowed to go home.
We want a normal life for our children. Our children have had enough.
And how did you suffer?
Lack of medical services.
They were tracked down by Sydney Morning Herald and The Age reporter Michael Batchelor.
They're the people that the Australian government say it's too dangerous to come and visit. They don't want to take them home, and the Australian people generally agree with them. It's an unpopular cause.
It's a very unstable environment, and the agency advice to us is very clear that it's not possible for us to send people in.
So the families face yet another freezing winter and a future uncertain as ever. Damien Ryan, NBN News.
There are strong signals the EU may agree to another Brexit delay, with the UK set to crash out of Europe in a little over a week. Europe correspondent Amelia Adams reports from Westminster.
Well, Brexit is set to be delayed again, and the UK is likely heading for a general election. In an extraordinary session of Parliament, MPs actually agreed on something. They approved Boris Johnson's New Deal, so great result for the government there. But then they proceeded to reject the timetable to fast-track the legislation in time for that October 31 deadline. The result? The EU is looking likely to grant an extension of 3 months until the end of January. Boris Johnson was forced to ask for that, but he doesn't want it. He won't accept it. Instead, the Prime Minister now likely to pull the withdrawal agreement and take the country to the polls. As a Downing Street source said today, the British Parliament is totally broken.
Dodgy builders will face a tougher time under legislation introduced in New South Wales today. The laws promise to better protect new owners after several recent construction disasters in Sydney, but they won't do much to help current ones left in limbo.
They're the symbol of everything wrong with apartment construction in Sydney. Beleaguered Mascot Towers owners, each faced with special levies of around $6,000 a month, deciding instead last night on a least worst option to take out a commercial loan for at least $5 million to repair their building.
People are under financial and emotional stress, but they want to get on with it now. They want to move forward. They want to get a resolution.
It's this case and others that force the government to reform an industry under a cloud.
We'll start the process of weeding out those building practitioners who do the wrong thing.
To ensure developers deliver what they've promised, tighter regulations will mean fire systems, waterproofing and other structural elements will have to be properly documented and only undertaken by registered professionals. Legally binding compliance with the building code for builders, engineers, designers and architects. Owners will also be owed a duty of care by builders, making it easier to bring civil claims. But these laws are not retrospective, leading some to believe that all they'll do is create a two-tiered Sydney apartment market. And despite promises to restore confidence,
At least the buildings that will come into the marketplace that are covered by the legislation, those question marks will be removed to some degree, but we still have doubts about those that have been built before the new regulations.
And there's a question mark over the legislation itself.
If this bill passes, literally nothing will change until the government gets its act together and drafts enormously complicated regulations that they haven't even started.
Eddie Meyer, NBN News.
Gavin Morris joins us now for a quick look at the weather. And Gav, dangerous bushfire conditions for many of our regions.
Yes, that's right. It's really going to start building as we move towards the windiest period, which is going to be around Saturday, just ahead of the cold change that will significantly drop temperatures on Sunday. But largely, this is another dry change. There is a little hope of some shower and storm activity over the northern New South Wales ranges throughout tomorrow. Otherwise, those northwesterly winds driving temperatures into the low 30s across the northwest itself and the Greater Hunter. Very warm right along the coast to the Gold Coast, enjoying some fabulous conditions there. Beautiful beach weather indeed. A closer look at all of your local weather details heads your way real soon.
Thank Thank you, Gav. Ahead in the news, questions asked after a tourist plunged to his death on a popular zip line.
And growing in numbers, why is zero alcohol beer booming?
This fella here was after a special cheese from his homeland, but he couldn't get it anywhere.
You don't have it? No. Hey, Ma.
No matter who he asked.
Can you send me some Irish Blue?
We're nuts.
Your dad says no.
So, he spoke to his local IGA in Melbourne.
An Irish Blue. You got that?
And because they're independently owned, are able to get it in for it. Well, so get to know your local IGA.
Right now, get 7 years free scheduled servicing across the 4x4 Oldham, Colorado range. 7 years free scheduled servicing when you're free to go up there, free to go through that, free to tow this and this. With Oldham, Colorado, you got this.
When you settle for one of the big four banks, it can feel like you're going nowhere. But you always have a choice. A choice to enjoy banking that rewards customers, not shareholders. A choice to save money and get ahead. To enjoy a better banking experience. And support your local community at the same time. Wherever you are, wherever you're going, you always have the choice to enjoy banking that will help you get there sooner.
Oh, it's time.
But don't wait for the sign. Leave your bank behind and enjoy the way banking should be.
The Chemist Warehouse half-price Big Brand Beauty Sale is on now. Like all these Neutrogena skincare products, half price. All OGX and the Maui hair care products, half price. Aveeno 354ml skincare range, half price. And all these Johnson's baby and adult products, half price. Hurry, the Big Brand Beauty Sale won't last. Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. Visit the heart of home and lifestyle. With 50 superstores, find all the inspiration you'll need to help make your home and lifestyle perfect for you. Katara Home.
The Great Wall Steed Stampede is now on. Get a petrol dual cab or a diesel single cab with a free trade from only $19,990. $19,990. Drive away with a huge 5-year warranty. But you better hurry. Great Wall. It's built to work. Yeehaw!
At Amcal, we're here to help with anything health.
New to Amcal, 40% off in the Health Selected range. And get on top of your allergies with these super hot offers on Zyrtec and Rhinocort.
For great savings and expert advice, just ask Amcal.
A tourist is dead and his wife badly injured after a zip line snapped, sending them plunging 15 metres into the Daintree rainforest.
Witnesses have described the sickening silence before they heard Shannon Anderson screaming her husband's name.
It's chilling. A snapped zipline wire dangling moments after it failed, sending Dean Sanderson and wife Shannon harnessed together, falling to the depths below.
They started on the descent and then all of a sudden we heard this large twang. The rope, or the steel braiding rope, came back and hit the shed and they plummeted down to the bottom.
A 15-metre freefall as their tour group watched on.
We didn't hear anything for quite a while from them and then all of a sudden his wife started screaming his name and everything was just total chaos then.
The rescue helicopter called in. But it was no easy task. The jungle surfing canopy tour at Cape Tribulation is in a remote area of the Daintree rainforest. When they got there, they couldn't save Dean. They found Shannon with shoulder and spinal injuries.
Just every time you shut your eyes, it's hearing the lady scream, which was just blood curdling. You just feel constantly sick.
We didn't sleep at all last night. It's pretty upsetting.
The Adelaide couple were touring the far north for Dean's 50th.
Oh, it's rocked us to the core. The members of this football club are like family.
For the father of three, ziplining was on his bucket list.
We're still in disbelief that it's them and not us. We don't know how we're here and the gentleman's not.
That's now a question for workplace health and safety investigators. Combing through the site today, the tour operator has little to say.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to give any details as to what happened, and that is largely we don't know yet.
This is not the first zipline accident for this area or this company. In 2004, an English backpacker suffered brain injuries because the harness wasn't strapped on properly. A worker was prosecuted. The family of Dean Sanderson releasing this statement. They're mourning the loss of a husband, father, and great friend.
And that poor lady, her life, it will never ever be the same.
A man in a stolen ambulance has terrorised Norway's capital, driving at pedestrians before crashing into a building. 3 people, including twin babies, were injured during the incident. The armed man behind the wheel only stopped when he was shot by Oslo police.
Flipping cars and turning streets into muddy swamps, flash floods have caused chaos in Italy's northwest. Normally a tiny stream, this river burst its banks, flooding the small towns surrounding it. 1 man is dead after his car was washed away. Former US President Jimmy Carter has fractured his pelvis in a fall at his Georgia home. The 95-year-old has had 3 falls in recent months, with 1 requiring a hip replacement. Mr. Carter is the oldest living former president. A US mother has been charged with murdering her young daughter after fabricating a terminal illness. Kelly Turner is accused of faking the sickness to reel in donations, and after the 7-year-old's death, allegedly tried the same ploy with a second child.
With her time running out, Olivia Gant worked her way through a bucket list, from dressing up as Bat Princess for a day to catching bad guys.
So today, you are going to be the police chief.
And fighting fires.
Thanks for being a great boss.
We don't know how much longer she has.
The 7-year-old made headlines across America, her mother Kelly Turner telling the world she was dying from a terminal disease. But now police say she killed her, charging the Colorado mother with murder.
She is an intestinal failure. We were in the hospital for about a month and came home on hospice.
Olivia died in 2017, her mother's lies coming to light only when the girl's doctor grew suspicious of Turner's claims that her other daughter had cancer. After learning that was a lie, he started wondering about Olivia. Her body was exhumed and an autopsy found no evidence of the ailments.
This is medical abuse, where the medical system is being used as a weapon against the child.
At one point, Ms. Turner reportedly asked a doctor to stop the artificial feeding that was keeping Olivia alive. She's facing 13 charges, including first-degree murder, child abuse, theft, and charitable fraud. It's alleged Turner received more than $32,000 from kind strangers she'd fooled in the process, and more than $500,000 in government payments.
Intentionally and deliberately trying to trick health providers and the people around them.
The mother is yet to enter her plea. In the United States, Alexis Daish, NBN News.
The mission to find a cure for Alzheimer's disease has been a long one. Now a drug which had been considered a flop is generating fresh hope. The company involved is seeking to have the medication registered in the US amid claims of promising new evidence that it slows cognitive decline.
It's a disease with no sign of a cure, despite billions of dollars in funding and many years of research.
Well, the field of Alzheimer's disease research right now with regard to therapeutics is really at a low.
That low extended to a drug made by US-based pharmaceutical giant Biogen. In March this year, trials were abandoned because of lackluster data. The company's stock took a nosedive, but now it intends to pursue regulatory approval of the drug in the US based on new findings that it can slow down the disease.
This was incredible. This is a drug that we all gave up on.
It's a good announcement if it really got some merit behind the data.
A dozen sites in Australia were part of the global trial of the drug called aducanumab, which uses antibodies to clear the plaques in the brain. The change of heart came after additional analysis suggests higher doses were more effective at slowing cognitive decline.
If we can influence that decline so that it slows, That's highly significant for a patient and also the family who are providing care. And those people who were previously on the study will be offered the opportunity to come back.
More details on how this drug can help patients will be revealed at an overseas conference in December. A breakthrough such as this will help tackle the rising burden of dementia, which currently affects nearly 500,000 Australians.
This may be one part of the puzzle that we need to be able to treat the disease.
Gabriella Rogers, NBN News.
The Australian share market has finished steady, losing just under half a point. Mining company Gold Road was one of the day's best performers. The big banks both saw gains and losses. Two commodities, and gold and oil, are trading up. $1 Australian is buying just under 69 US cents.
It was once the red-headed stepson of beverages, but zero-alcohol beer is starting to reappear in bottle-os and pub fridges. Brewers say they've now mastered the technique of making it taste like beer, but the ultimate test will always lie with consumers.
Hear that? That's the sound of beery refreshment. But now the big grog mobs reckon we've developed the taste for zero-alcohol beer.
Non-alcoholic beer has been available in Australia for more than 20 years. Most consumers didn't really enjoy the taste of them. They didn't taste much like beer.
According to industry research firm IBISWorld, beer consumption has actually declined by over 15% in the last 10 years, falling to its lowest level since the days of the 6 o'clock swill of the 1950s. But those backing zero-alcohol beers shouldn't get their hopes up, because it's another end of the market that is doing far better. While the big-name beers like Vit Bitter still sell the most, premium and craft beers have grown strongly in the last half-decade. But on top of a new advertising assault, the beer barons say they now know how to stew a grogless brew.
We've tested a lot of consumers, and some people can't. And that's the beauty of it, is that it actually does taste like, beer.
So I headed off to an old-fashioned inner-city drinking posse, the Strawberry Hills, to see what the locals thought. Dave is usually a Resh's man. Does it taste like a beer?
It does.
But
a little bit shy of that kind of punch.
Brad loves a bevy. Better than normal beer.
Yeah, it's less bitter, I guess.
Michaela usually prefers a vino.
That's good. A bit weak.
But Carl wasn't convinced.
Just a little bit watery.
Mind you, Dave had already concocted a plan.
I think you could have some fulls and then tap a couple of these in at the end.
Dave, you're a thinking man, mate. Mike Dalton, NBN News.
Yeah, he's got it all worked out.
I'm feeling a bit thirsty.
Yeah, me too. Mitchell Hughes is here with the sport now.
And Mitch, a question mark hangs over a kangaroo's hard man.
It definitely does. He's no certainty to play. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Tash. After the break, the latest on Josh Papali's fitness ahead of Friday night's test. And a concern or two for Australia before the summer of cricket.
This is the business end of spring. You know your favourite runners and your favourite players. So, with over 150 racing and sport promotional offers this week, you know what to do. Ladbrokes, back yourself.
Our perfect moment is yours. Cruise New Zealand from $1,999. Call your travel agent or book at princess.com. Princess Cruises. Come back new.
During Beaumont's Mega Floor Clearance, it's Goodbye Ugly and Hello Beautiful for under $620. Or Hello Gorgeous, not $1,500, just $670 for the whole room. Save now with Beaumont's Mega Floor Clearance.
And I get 5 years cap price servicing with my new Corolla.
Well, they're impressed.
Still feeling it? You will be when you get Corolla Hatch with 4.9% finance. Search Toyota Value. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Newcastle's new iconic building, Verve Residences, is now complete. And we've exceeded all expectations in quality of construction, attention to detail, and architectural finish. This is your opportunity to live in one of Newcastle's best best locations. Central to retail, cafes, restaurants, transport and the harbour. Enjoy stunning views from your 3-bedroom upper-level apartment. Relax in the open-plan living spaces. Experience the luxury Verve has to offer, including concierge services, high-speed elevators, and large landscaped concourse with community gardens. From the moment you arrive, you'll discover Verve is lifestyle reimagined.
We're really impressed with the quality of design and construction that's been achieved here at Verve, so much so that we bought an apartment here ourselves.
Apartments are limited. Inquire now, and all this could be yours. Verve Residences. Make your move today.
Looking for relief from hay fever allergies? Upgrade from antihistamines to Nasonex Allergy Nasal Spray from Chemist Warehouse. One daily dose provides 24-hour non-drowsy relief from hay fever symptoms such as nasal congestion, sneezing and watery itchy eyes. Right now, Nasonex Allergy Twin Pack is available over the counter at Chemist Warehouse for only $26.99. Treat and prevent hay fever allergy symptoms with Nasonex Allergy. Live, look, feel well at Chemist Warehouse.
This is the business end of spring. You know your favourite runners and your favourite players. So, with over 150 racing and sport promotional offers this week, you know what to do. Ladbrokes, back yourself.
Open up your eyes, then you realize, here I stand with my everlasting love. This love will last forever.
The grand final is still haunting Josh Papali. The Kangaroos' hardman is no certainty to take the field against New Zealand in Friday night's test. Papali had scans on his injured ribs today and will be given until tomorrow to prove his fitness.
Strolling the streets after taking scans, but Josh Papali's place in the Kangaroos side is still undecided. The Aussies deny that they're playing mind games.
Well, I'm not good enough to play mind games, honestly. Not smart enough to do that.
I'm sure he's going to play, and no doubt all ribs across the park will be tested out at some stage, so yeah, we're expecting him, I'm sure he'll play.
It's a new look Kangaroos outfit with a third of the team set to debut.
We've spoken a bit about a lot of players that have retired now. That was a big part of this team, so yeah, it's definitely us to take that forward and to make our own bit of history now.
Benji Marshall made his test debut 15 years ago. In 2 days' time, he'll captain his nation for a record 20th time.
It's actually really a dream come true just to wear the black jumper again for myself. There was probably a time where I thought that was not going to be the case again, and just to get the opportunity, I'm just really grateful for that.
These teams last met a year ago, New Zealand winning 26-24. Neither coach is drawing much from that for this test.
We learn from mistakes. So yeah, we've looked at it, but we're not as passionate to the Kiwis. We're going to come with a lot of passion for the jersey.
Australia will head into Friday night's test as strong favourites, and a packed-out crowd here at Wollongong will be urging the Aussies to, for the 101st time, take down New Zealand. Rob Canning, NBN News.
Shaun Johnson is crucial to a Kiwi upset on Friday. He has the X factor which could tear Australia apart. A standout performance would also help silence his critics, who accuse Johnson of going missing in big moments.
Shaun Johnson stands out even in the most elite company. His display for the Kiwis against Australia the last time they played was sublime.
Do you feel that pressure to redo that again?
No. I think, I'll just prep like I usually do, and obviously playing Australia, you've got to be at your best.
Johnson's best is a level few players can reach. The constant criticism is that he doesn't do it every week. He's unfazed.
It's just noise. It doesn't annoy me because, I wouldn't seek advice from you, so I'm not going to listen to your bag man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I only listen to the people that I go to for help, and I ask them their honest opinion. They give me feedback. Whether it aligns with what you're saying, it doesn't really matter.
How do you block that noise out? What do you do to do that?
I've got a good support crew. Obviously, family's really important for me, and, this year at times it's probably been a little bit challenging with sort of moving away from home, but been able to adapt, and, I think a strong support crew is very important.
His brothers and parents are members of his support crew, but his fiancée Kayla is the key. She's a pro netballer and has an understanding of the challenges he faces.
She's the one I get to go home to every day, so she's my sounding board first and foremost.
And she says what she thinks.
What did Kayla say to me this weekend? She asked me to have more energy. She said, I need you to have more energy out there. okay. Then I get a text, I think, that's better. So
a lot of athletes probably don't know who to trust.
No, yeah, no, it's a tough one because of all the noise. People, do find it hard to sort of just ignore it. And there would have been a time in my career where I would have let it get to me for sure.
Danny Weidler, NBN News.
Some concerns for Australia ahead of the international summer of cricket, with both David Warner and Steve Smith failing to make double figures in today's domestic one-day match against Tasmania. The Tigers rolled the Blues for just 237 and had no trouble reeling in the targets at North Sydney Oval. The only positive for Australia, paceman Josh Hazlewood, who took 3 for 47 in his 10 overs. There was an upset in Game 1 of baseball's World Series, with the Washington Nationals defeating the Houston Astros 5-4 in a thriller away from home in Texas. It's the first time the Nationals have qualified for a World Series. The second game takes place tomorrow. In just a moment, LeBron beaten as the new NBA season begins. And a British horse firms in the betting for the Melbourne Cup.
Business end of spring. You know your favourite runners and your favourite players. So, with over 150 racing and sport promotional offers this week, you know what to do. Ladbrokes, back yourself.
Are you confident you can cover your living costs in retirement? A Challenger lifetime annuity can complement your existing retirement income, giving you guaranteed income for life. Find out more at challenger.com.au.
This is the worst drought I've ever seen. It's impacting so many Norco farmers. Feed prices are ridiculous. It's just such tough going. It's so important to us that our cows are in top condition so we can produce the best quality milk. That's why we're asking our fellow Aussies just to pay that little bit more for our milk. It's only a few extra cents and it all goes back to helping Norco dairy farmers. No offshore companies, no foreign investors, just hard-working Aussie farmers. Because right now every cent does count.
Get a spring bonus when you stay at a Port Stephens beachside holiday park. Book 2 nights and receive discounted accommodation, plus movie vouchers at no extra cost. Book your spring bonus now. Call reservations on 4988 0990 or visit beachsideholidays.com.au.
This Saturday Arvo for their massive grand opening event. Discover the latest and greatest from Mercury Outdoors and Horizon Boats. Bring the family and enjoy Everything Marine grand opening opposite Bunnings Morisset.
Lazy Boy's sensational spring sale brings you fresh savings on a huge range, like this modular, now $2,999, or this 3-seater with power recline, now $3,599, plus 20% off all lift chairs. Hurry into Horton's Katara and Rutherford now.
Yeah. I would like a bar of chocolate, please. It's for my mom.
Your change.
Happy birthday, Mum.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
If you haven't experienced the quality of an Eden Bray home before, then your journey starts now. With 11 display homes across the Hunter and Central Coast, we encourage you to compare the difference. Have confidence with a builder you can trust. Eden Bray Homes.
The brand new cordless Karcher FC5 Hard Floor Cleaner uses 2-in-1 smart roller technology to vacuum and mop in one. The Karcher cordless range in store now.
British horse Prince of Iran has firmed sharply in Melbourne Cup betting after taking out a key lead-up race today. The Charlie Fellows trained gelding held off the fast-finishing True Self to claim the Geelong Cup. Connections are confident he can improve on his third place in last year's race. The new NBA season is underway with champions the Toronto Raptors welcomed back home, but they needed overtime to beat New Orleans. LeBron James's Lakers were overcome by crosstown rivals the Clippers 112-102. Ben Simmons' 76ers and Joe Ingles' Utah Jazz play their season openers tomorrow. Adelaide and Melbourne City will battle it out tonight for the FFA Cup before the Reds head to Newcastle for Saturday's A-League clash with the Jets. Newcastle players took a break from training today to share some smiles.
No, these aren't the latest Jets to swap football for music. Rather, a visit to Ronald McDonald House to lift spirits.
It's an amazing feeling now. It's, I think, sometimes better than scoring a goal. Just to put a smile on a kid's face for no reason, just the fact that you're here.
Dimi Petratos was the sole goal scorer for the Jets in the F3 Derby stalemate, albeit in unconventional circumstances.
I had a feeling because the week before there was a penalty taken against him and he moved early like that, so he picked the right way and saved it. I was just hoping the ref saw it or the VAR, and they did. I felt confident. I had to be, otherwise I think I would have missed it again.
Bobby Burns is a player looking to push his way into the 11 after coming off the bench in his A-League debut.
It was probably similar to what I'm used to in Scotland. I didn't think it was slow or too fast. It was probably just what I was kind of expected.
The Irishman is hoping for more game time in the Jets' first match at home this Saturday against Adelaide. Their opponents playing in the FFA Cup final tonight in what will be their third clash in 12 days.
We'll watch the Adelaide game tonight and hopefully get a few suspensions and maybe a few players late, but we'll see how it goes.
We've just said to each other, let's just focus on ourselves. No game's going to be easy. Doesn't matter how many games they've played.
Kate Haberfield, NBN News.
There'll be a shake-up to the Women's Premier League next season with Broadmeadow Magic coming on board. The Magic will take over South Wallsend's licence, meaning all 4 Wolves WPL teams will now play under the Broadmeadow banner. The move is designed to address concerns about South Wallsend's facilities and infrastructure. He recently helped Team Australia to $1 million payday in the Sail GP series, but Kyle Langford isn't about to drop anchor. Following a short break at home, the Lake Macquarie sailor will test a yacht for the Round the World race.
The Sail GP series came down to a final pressure test between Australia and Team Japan.
$1 million for one 10-minute race. The nerves were up there before that race, and we were lucky to come out with a win, so that was good times.
The victory made even sweeter by beating fellow locals Nathan Outeridge and Ian Jensen.
It was good having Nathan and Goobs on Team Japan. It was really a battle of Lake Macquarie in the final, and luckily Coal Point came out on top over Wanji, and it's awesome to have some of your best mates on the other teams.
Langford will try and help Australia retain the title when the 2020 series begins in Sydney in February. But there's plenty to do before then. In November, he heads to Brazil to sail a boat to Europe, the same vessel he'll board in 2021 for the next edition of the Round the World Yacht Race.
The key difference between the last race and this next one is that you can design and develop your own boat. So having sailors sail the boats early and start a campaign early is going to be very important to have a successful campaign.
In December, he'll step outside his comfort zone again, competing solo at the Moth World Championships in Perth.
So there's a lot of pressure on that because there's no one to blame but myself, so it's going to be a good challenge.
He's a very busy boy.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Stay with us for the weather next with Gav.
Neds puts you in control of the race and the track this Saturday. Pick any Australian thoroughbred race, including the Cox Plate, and get up to 10 tools in your punter's toolbox. This spring, take it to the Neds level.
I played rugby league all my life, and you've got to expect that there's going to be some wear and tear. My knees, they were gone, I was going to get them operated on. So thankfully for me, I had a chance meeting with the guys from the Good Feet store, and I'm finding now I'm getting better and better. My knees now are pain-free. These arch supports, mate, they work. I'm Paul Harrigan, and that's my Good Feet story.
See for yourself with a free personalised arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Kia offers value you can trust. Get the Kia Sorento Sport with reverse camera, AEV safety and smartphone connectivity from just $22,490 drive away with Australia's best 7-year warranty.
Renovators looking for a better price?
There's gotta be a better way.
Renovators Sale Catalogue is out now. At Renovators Discount Depot, save on our entire range of bathroom, kitchen and laundry products. The Tila Workplace Toilet, now $299. Harmony 900mm Gloss Vanity, now $329. And freestanding baths from $795. Get the catalogue at rdd.net.au. Renovators Discount Depot, 147 Newcastle Road, Walsend.
That's better.
Better products, better price.
New Age Newcastle Spring into Summer Sale is on this Thursday to Sunday with a huge range of caravans that must be cleared. Plus get a bonus fridge or generator pack worth a cool $2,000. Get more out of summer. Spring into New Age Newcastle.
Perfect. With the right home loan.
Sounds perfect.
Good for your money.
Out we go.
Perfect.
The Mutual. Talk to us.
Summer sale is on now. Save on outdoor packages, up to 30% off our bedroom and dining furniture. Save hundreds on fabric and leather sofas. And all table lamps, buy one, get one free. Visit Early Settler in-store or online today.
This spring, take it to the Ned's level with the Punter's Toolbox.
1601. 1601.
BetEasy makes it easy to raise your game. We show every Australian race live. Ladbrokes and Sportsbet don't. Enjoy every Australian thoroughbred greyhound and harness race with the best watch and bet experience. BetEasy, raise your game.
This weather update proudly brought to you by BetEasy. Raise your game this spring carnival with BetEasy.
Gavin Morris joins us now with the weather, and Gav, it's starting to feel very summery.
Certainly is, Lobby. Very hot conditions on the way. Dangerous bushfire conditions will probably peak during Friday and Saturday, especially before the cool air arrives. Love this photo. Muttonbird Island looking back towards Coffs. That's the Dorrigo Plateau up in the distance. You can see the smoke haze there. There are bushfires burning, sadly, and no significant rain in sight. There's a couple of showers about tonight, and there's going to be more over the northern New South Wales ranges tomorrow, but during the past 24 hours, virtually nothing recorded. Just look at this little area of instability. There's a couple of showers around the central coast and up around Broke, just rolling off the mountains at the moment. So a nice little shallow trough line sitting there, extending all the way back to the Gulf country and up around Macarthur Roper. Now that little trough line is going to be around there. You can see a kink in the isobars, not fully visible, but the likelihood of some afternoon showers and storms there around the northern New South Wales ranges, they may be more problematic than handy. Some dry lightning could be in there, starting more bushfires. For us, it's all about that northwesterly. It's going to start kicking in over the next few days, and that is going to drive temperatures into the low, mid-30s, some very hot conditions on the way until this next front, largely a dry one, comes through, cooling Sunday. So very hot right throughout the southeast as the desert air gets flushed southward for now. In between Sydney and Brisbane, that nor'easter will kick in, cooling the coast. Some showers again for Cairns, but most of our majors and capital cities dry tomorrow. There's that shower activity rolling over the Waddingtons and towards parts of the central coast. So nice to have a little area of instability. Every single drop counts, but a lot more of that is certainly needed. Cracking the mid or low 30s today, mid-30s tomorrow. Cooler along the coast yet again because of that nor'easter dragging some humidity, but super dry right throughout the Hunter again with relatively calm winds. Tomorrow that northwesterly is going to hold its ground longer, and that's going to push the heat heat to the coast, and you can see that onshore breeze is not really going to penetrate too far inland, so most locations are going to be extremely warm to hot throughout tomorrow. There's the showers and storms over the northern New South Wales ranges, I would say. Nothing for us on offer. We'll see a little bit of cloud, I would say, so partly cloudy skies, just some Hughes forming tomorrow with that little area of instability, but you can see very hot. Looks like most locations will at least be in the high 20s with some 30 set to unfold. The nor'easter will push in across Port Stephens earlier, but once we move to the valley floor, we're looking at the low to mid 30s throughout tomorrow, so we've certainly got a hot one that'll be served up for our Thursday. Swell all but leaving us, not much there. Very quiet, beautiful beach conditions like today. It was magic. Tomorrow morning there's a high tide just before 6, working to the low at about 11:35. Sun will be up at around about 6 a.m. and down at 7:15. Days noticeably longer, days hotter, and the big dry continues. Winds really picking up speed. Northwesterlies building Friday to Saturday. Very dangerous bushfire conditions right here. Then cooling off on Sunday, and early next week it is going to be cool and then slowly warming up. Dangerous bushfire conditions for the hunter, the mountain areas, and raised dust certainly possible Saturday before the cool air comes through, making for another cool start to next week. Surfers, some little waves there pushing through. Fun, busy, lovely beach conditions. It's just been so involved. That was a nice burn. Just drop on in, kill someone, why don't you? Look, it is going to be very small throughout tomorrow, but clean with that northwesterly before the sea breeze gets in again.
Thank you, Gav, and that is NBN News for this Wednesday.
We'll have updates throughout the evening, and you can catch the latest headlines on the Today Show from 5:30 a.m.
Thanks for your company from all the team.